Fishbach is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I want to thank all of you for being here today, because this is a critical part of our job, is to be here listening to folks from across the country, not only from our district, but hearing people from our district and understanding better as we go back to D.C. And, over the past 2 years, we've watched inflation, we've watched more supply chain issues, we've watched the workforce issues, and then that was on top of the pandemic. So, and Mr. Livingston, I know that the restaurant industry has had a harder time recovering than a lot, and I won't say anyone's completely recovered, but it's a harder time. And you were asked some very pointed questions about your employees and how much you paid, and I wanted to give you an additional opportunity to respond to that, because I think that I waited on tables for years during college and when I was younger. I probably couldn't handle it anymore, but there's a lot of aspects to the restaurant industry that I think that should be pointed out when you're talking about your employees, and I want to give you that opportunity.
Thank you very much. You just made mention listening from the witnesses, and I greatly appreciate that, because I thought this was a hearing and I wasn't allowed to be heard by Ms. Moore a while ago, because I was kind of insulted and rudely cut off. So yeah, thank you for the opportunity to explain that, and I appreciate it. Our employees, one thing that was mentioned earlier was transportation, and again, it's not my part to get people to and from work. They have 2 feet, they can walk. But the problem with this is, I have offered benefits. Yeah, we're not mandated by that. And these gentlemen, thank you for your comments. I appreciated those and listening to that. But because we're not mandated, we tried to offer insurance to our employees. We tried to offer benefits. We tried to offer those things that have been mentioned. But the problem was that you have to have, in a small business or any insurance, you have to have at least 3 that participate. Well, out of our 30 small business employees, we couldn't come up with 3 because they all had assistance from the government. So the people that do need it, the 2 or 3 people that could have used it, were not allowed, or we could not sign that up because we didn't have enough participation to go forward with that. But in my community, I try to give back to every one of our employees, and I may not have a paid leave program, but what I do is I offer money to them. If they are having a baby, I go to the hospital. I offer stuff for them. I do feed them. I feed their families. I do all of those things that I can. I support their small children in ball and their school projects and their Girl Scout cookies and all of those items. I do all of that as a small business owner to give back to community. So all of these big time things that we're talking about right now, that's saying that we're not doing as small business owners, or we're not giving back, or we're not having these opportunities for our employees. We give them opportunities, and we do have all of those things that we have, but we just don't have the capacity or the support from the government to be able to afford all of those things. When your inflation's skyrocketed and your price of goods are skyrocketing and your menu price of food has gone up, you don't have the money in return to sit there and pay all of these benefit programs to your employees. But you do try to help out of pocket that ultimately comes directly from our family's pocket to support them. But thank you for listening to me. I appreciate that.
Well, yes, sir. And I will tell you, I appreciate, my district, biggest town is 50,000 people, so I'm from a rural area. And you're not just a small business owner, you're part of the community. When you start talking about your supporting the Girl Scouts, you're the guy who is writing out the checks for the Little League when they come and ask for a sponsor. Right. And so it's not just those kinds of things that we talk about in D.C., because good ideas don't always come from D.C. A lot of them are bad ideas, and you are all part of your community, and you know what works, what's good, what's helpful, and I have such a hard time just saying that every neat idea in D.C. is going to work, because it's not. And we need to be out here talking to you. because we need to understand what's going on in your communities. And so I appreciate, Mr. Livingston, that you are, and all of you, that you're part of the community, that you are writing that Little League check, you are buying those cookies. So thank you for doing what you do, because you support your community and you make it a better place to live. So I appreciate that, and I am out of time, so thank you, and I yield back.
Thank you.